So when you're talking about Iraq, man, Iraq was completely a chaos. You're talking about a regime that controlled every single thing, including your words, and you had nothing else you would think about other than just surviving the day.
What age were you the first time that you said like you revolted, or you pushed back, or you voiced your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up during the first Gulf War in 1991, seeing the war, seeing all the explosions. But as a kid, you really don't know any difference. My first run with the government was when I was 12 years old.
Young.
And 12-year-old is I actually walked out of my middle school in a peaceful day, and not like any American kid will take the bus. We don't have buses. We're not the elite, so we just go and walk to school. And it was just a normal day. I walk every single day. I really didn't know how the structure of the government back then, how things worked, how people, acted. And I was approached by a police officer who happened to be a Ba'ath Party member, which is Saddam's political party. And when you talk about the Ba'ath Party, it's almost like the Communist Party. Ba'ath Party was extremely designed and inspired by the Communist Party. Fidel Castro was pretty close friend of Saddam Hussein. So when you got approached by someone like that, at a 12-year-old, you really don't know how to properly act around somebody like that. And the one thing that you notice is that a Ba'ath Party member always sounds different, dress different, look different. And I'll never forget, the police officers who approached me looked completely different than the other two guards that were behind him. And he asked me a question. He said, "Do you have any money in your pocket?" And the problem for me is I didn't know the norm back then. If they ask you for money in your pocket, you take whatever you got and you give it to them without questions asked. And that was the norm. And that's how things went. But when I personally just was asked that question, I just decided to walk away. I didn't know really what the answer was. I just yeah, whatever. I just walk away. And when I walked away, that police patrol parked right in front of me, cut me off. And he got out. He was about 6 foot tall, officer, looked different, sounds different. And immediately searched me. And when he searched me, he found money that I have in my pocket. And things escalated. I end up getting slapped to the ground. When I got slapped to the ground, I cursed him. I got hurt really bad. Imagine you're a 12-year-old kid, skinny, living through the sanctions during the 90s. You barely get enough food a day. And someone comes in 6 foot tall, who's fed really well, slaps you really hard to the face and drops you down to the ground. I couldn't hold it. I cursed him. And then from there, it was personal because it was a culture thing. I cursed him. I cursed his sister, his mom, whatever it is. And he grabbed me and threw me in the police patrol and started driving. And he drove about 45 minutes. And I remember getting through a gate, which was like the gate of the Iraqi Ministry of Interior. And this is like the Ministry of Police in Iraq. And when I passed that gate, normal citizens would never pass that gate, don't know what's behind it. We usually just drive by it. It was my first time in my life actually going behind the guards and seeing what this presidential or governmental areas look like. And he drove about 2 miles after that checkpoint, and we passed actually the Ministry of Interior. And to the right side, there was actually a compound. And the compound was completely shut down, blocked from the whole world, and a slide door open. And when that slide door opened, and you saw nothing but cages and razor wires, and it just looked different. And that compound was actually like a prison camp for individuals who were anti-government. Of course, you would think, what is a 12-year-old that refused to give what's equal 250 dinars, like, well, a few dollars? What is a kid going to do there? And then I had the same question. What am I doing there? What's the point of me being in there? And my whole time thinking is that I was just going to get slapped and go home. And there was a conversation between the guard and the guy in the front who actually booked me, the bath party member. He said, "Hey man, he's just a kid. Why don't you just slap him right here and let him go?" And that was when he actually left my town. And he turned around. He said, "If you keep talking, I'm going to throw you what I'm throwing him tonight." And the guy next to me just zipped his mouth. And I had a hope when I got to that compound that this was just some kind of a thing to scare me and let me go. And I sat in the car, and then they called me up. There was a dark room in the beginning of that compound. And I walked in, and I was given a pen. He wrote a report on a paper, white piece of paper, and he stated that I was an anti-government fighter that tried to assassinate him while on duty. And I was given a pen, and I was told to sign. And the last scene I remember when I was holding that pen, is there were guards with bats in their hands staring at me. And I took the pen and I signed, and I have no idea what the 100 words that were written in that report were. And I was taken immediately and thrown into prison with not like an American prison with like a single cell. It was actually like a warehouse with 500 people in it.